Just reminded me. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start talking about something. I had read an article about, and I don't know if this was legitimate or not, because I came across it on obesityhelp.com. But basically, it had to do with an airline that had made, it was like a 7-hour trip, non-stop flight. I can't remember where they were going to, but it was a really long flight. But there was an obese man, 400 pounds, that had boarded the plane last minute, and the passenger next to him, who was of normal size, could not fit into his seat because the 400-pound man was spilling over into his seat. So this average size man had to stand, this is so absurd sounding, during takeoff and landing, and could not sit in the stewardess's jump seats because it was against regulations. So you're going to have a passenger stand for 7 hours instead of escorting. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for that. This story isn't even what really bothered me, okay? Because I understand, because I've been on a flight before at 300 plus pounds, and you do spill over. And I remember the last time I was on an airplane, and you have 3 seats, and I'm like at the window seat, and I'm just praying and hoping and praying that nobody's going to have to sit in that middle seat, because it's already uncomfortable whenever you have the armchairs. I mean, those things are like, what, 18 or 22 inches wide? Think about it, women, how wide your hips, if it's 22 inches wide, your hips cannot be any wider than 44 inches. And those of us that have a BMI of 50 plus, I'm sorry, your hips are going to be wider than that. You are spilling over. Here is what bothered me, okay? Let me back up. Okay, the oversized man should have probably purchased 2 plane tickets. More expensive, yes, but because we know that we do take up more room. Most of the time, I believe it's my understanding that the airline, if that seat wasn't taken up, if they weren't booked full, then you get the refund for the extra seat purchased. No need for it. But it says a just in case, so that passengers, I guess, can be as comfortable as possible instead of, Okay, here's what bothered me. The comments. I felt subhuman whenever I got done reading the comments. I normally would not even cuss on this, okay, and I don't even know. Calling him a fat a lard a chubby, talking about other people that were fat A's that came sitting next to them, and their fat spilling over onto them, and just, how disgusting they were, and it's their fault that they're like this because they are just too lazy. I could not believe how people were talking. It was discriminating. Absolutely discriminating. And it just made my heart hurt, because I'm like, you know what about this guy's feelings? I mean, yes, the airline, if this is a true story, did not handle it correctly, but I'll tell you what was true, if the story wasn't, was people's reactions to overweight, to the obese. One comment on the Obesity Help, somebody that had read the article as well, was saying, too bad there's not a real person underneath all that fat. And that's so true. We're real people. Beautiful people with hearts, and we're just screaming to get out of our prison. We're prisoners in our own body. But just You know, because people do not have to face other people with this problem face to face. They can do it anonymously with their keyboard. Then their true colors really come out. And people are still mean. You know, I was thinking that, you know, another post on the obesity help was a girl that she was almost 30, never had a boyfriend, and she was concerned about how to relate to men whenever the weight started dropping off, because before she had just been a joke up to that point, people laughing at her, and she's always been considered a joke. And I'm thinking, well, my goodness, you're almost 30 years old. People don't act that way now. I guess I was proven wrong. People do act that way, even in their 30s and on up older. That's horrible. I wonder why these kids nowadays are, you see how they act towards other kids, how mean they can be. Well, guess where they're learning it from? They're learning it from their parents. From the cruelty. They're being cruel. Learning it from their own homes. But anyways, yeah, it's amazing. That other person had posted, I can't remember the exact wording on it, but it had a lot to do with these people that were being so judgmental whenever we live in a society of Kentucky Fried Chickens and McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants. We're not a healthy society. We're all either obese or on our way to it. So how can you actually sit there and be so cruel to somebody? We live in a world of processed foods, steroids, hormone injected. Anyways, I didn't mean to get all down in the doldrums about this. It just really, I don't think I really even realized how bad it would affect me, or how much I would get emotional over it. But I just can't stand anybody being cruel to somebody else, and I was absolutely appalled that grown people would actually treat another human being this way. Even in the comments of that article, people that were taken up, not for the airlines, not for the overweight passenger or the skinny passenger, but just, you know, calling them out on calling people names. They would turn on them and call them fatties and lardays. They don't know if they were or not. They were just assuming because they were taken up for them. Anyways, just something to keep in mind. You know, we don't have to stay in that mindset of I guess I'm not wanting to end this on a negative note. We're doing something about our obesity, and that's a good thing, and that is a positive thing. And I just pray for these people that I would never wish adversity on anybody, but we have to have some adversity. But I really do pray that some of these people have their eyes opened, because no matter whether you're fat, dealing with anorexia, of average size, we all have our issues. None of us are perfect, but we're all people, and we all have hearts, and we all deserve to be treated with respect and loving and giving kindness, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I have just gone on and on and on, and I'm so sorry, guys. This is a really long video. But I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed week, and I will talk to y'all next week. Bye-bye.